Welcome back, guys. YouTube is a go. I don't really know where to start. I know I said I was going to carry on doing the YouTube, and there's actually no excuses, but off season, just wanting to get the job done. Went well, everything's good. Currently at the minute, I'm in the pre-prep phase, so this is really why the YouTube's starting back up again. When I'm in off season, I don't think there's much to show. I know it's, yeah, everyone's covered up and all that sort of stuff, and the training, once you've seen one training session, or at least that split, you've seen it all, every day is the same. And I think I've said this 100 times, but now things are changing slightly, like a pre-prep phase / recovery health phase. I'm in week 5 or 6 now. I think I've got a couple of weeks left. So really just ramping up to start prep mid-Feb. So it's the beginning of Feb now. So 2 weeks potentially there. Not too sure which shows yet. I'm gonna sort of decide. There's a block of shows what I think I'm potentially gonna do. But for now, we'll start by just showing you what my intro workout is at the minute. And then we can crack on into the session and we'll cover some stuff over there. As I'm a strong sports nutrition athlete, everything is strong, apart from front and centre, red Connie ears, but I use them because I bought a load of them, and they're actually quite nice. So 50 grams of carbs through Carb Max, which is actually a very good carb powder. They're not all the same. 50 grams of them, 20 grams of essential amino acids. You can use Essential Max. You should use Essential Max. 10 grams of Crea Max. I got the lemonade because there was no raw left, and actually I've stuck with this because it's really nice. Hydromax. If you're not from the UK, you probably won't know what Hydromax is. It's just like a hydration formula. Vitamin C, taurine, cranberry, and dandelion root extract. Coca mineral in it. It's basically just a hydration formula. I'll just do a scoop of that, which is 12 grams anyway. Glutamine Max, Glutamax from My Protein, and then pink salt, 2 grams of pink salt. So shout out to Riz, the engineer muscle, for sending me this out. This is a salt shaker that measures 0.5 grams per push. So if you do it by twists or if you measure it out, this is very, very good. If you go to Riz the Engineer on Instagram, there's some good stuff in his bio, along with what I use pre-workout as well, which I'll chat about that in a second. However, 0.5, 1 gram, 1.5, 2 grams. Easy as that. And it's very accurate because I've measured it twice. And I think for my intro, that is it. Followed by Vascumax. As always, have Vascumax all the time, pretty much every session. I'm just on 1 scoop of that at the minute. No need for 2. There is a need for 2 at some times, but just not right now for me. And then Stimumax. I haven't typically had pre-workouts for a long time. I started putting them in a couple of weeks ago. Normally half a scoop of this, but I'm going to have a scoop today. Bit of bad advertising because I've had this pre-workout for probably about 6 or 7 months. So it's gone a little bit hard, but it's still good. I've still been using it, it's still just as potent, but half a scoop for me at the minute, because I'm quite sensitive to caffeine, is good enough, but it seems I'm going to be a bit more chatty today. Or else I need to be a bit more chatty today. I'm going to try and up it a little bit, see what happens. So that's my sort of pre and intra supplementation, as in like powder forms, drinks if you were. Pre-workout, I do have this by Engineered Muscle, which is turbocharged. It's got 500 milligram of carnitine, 100 milligram of arginine, 12.5 milligram ATP in there. That is it. However, it's like a pump formula, intramuscular before you train. And I think it's really, really good. So one thing that I've been doing, I was doing was site injecting the arms with whatever cycle I was doing at the time before I trained. And I almost think that injection point creates blood flow to the area. It's damage going into the muscle, and I think this just really helps, partition nutrients more, etc., etc. A lot of people have got a hell of a lot of good reviews about that. I just do a mil pre-workout, not going to 2 mil or anything like that, and I really like it. So that's what goes in. That is the pre. 5 IU of insulin still at the minute, but because we're just in that recovery phase, it doesn't have to be any higher than that. And that is it, guys. So I'll get this in, and then we will catch you back at the gym, which is still Wood Flex Run. Right, okay guys, so I call it a push session, but it's really chest and triceps with like a delt exercise thrown in. Sometimes at the end, I might do some dumbbell delts just to get a little bit of an extra pump, so I can look at myself in the posing room. We have actually filmed this session before when I was deep in off season, and I just never posted it. So we'll do it again. First exercise for me is the prime, basically a cable press. So I use a cable press because I found that when I use something that's a fixed motion, and I don't know if it's because I've got tightnesses at one side or the other, I can't contract my chest as well if I use something that's free moving, so where I can get my elbows in my hand position. So to start with this first time, almost like a fly press, it engages my chest instantly. I have blood in the chest, I have that good connection point, and then I can go into the pressing. My other session where I do more of a shoulder focus session, I start with a chest exercise, then I go straight into the Smith machine. And that can take a lot of warming up sometimes. When I do get it right, it's good, but first and foremost, getting in here is really good for my chest. 4 sets still, 4 working sets. The first 2 sets are almost potentiation sets. So I'll do 2 sets of 15 to 20 to start with. These are nowhere near failure sets. Again, it's staying shy, failure. My 2 sets after that will be failure sets. So technically, I'm pyramiding up to 2 failure sets from 4. I do that for the majority of the workout out through this session. Maybe not so much on the strict press later on in the day, but I'll explain as we go through why and what I'm looking to achieve through it. So what I'm looking for here is that stretch there. So my chest is fully stretched, fully contracted. And I'll just replicate that movement. Keeping my chest pushed up to the ceiling, not letting it dip. Keeping it up, pushing with the outside of my hands, so I'm not collapsing it with the front of my hands, which can lead sometimes to me hitting my front down. So chest up, full stretch, biceps together, push with the outside of the hands. So straight away, because the weight is light enough, I can put myself in that position. And if I were to do what we call a typical warm-up set, I can feel it, but I don't yet have enough blood in my chest to be able to take it to the point of where I can actually physically feel it myself. So as I'm getting there, you'll see I'm squeezing really hard. So I'm getting used to when I'm fully out here and I'm more vulnerable, I've got long arms, that I can still squeeze my chest. And I'm not just getting here and doing this. I can stay in this position, and that's really, really important. For years, I'd get here, I'd be strong to here, and then I'd lose it there. So now I'm really going to be in this position to be able to really shorten my chest in there without using this. There's going to be some front delt involved, but very minor. And with all the sets in this style, we're getting heavier every set. There's a big chance sometimes that you can overshoot. So if you've got a sweet spot, 1 to 10, 1 being lightest, 10 being most, but your hypertrophy is going to occur at 7 or 8. You warm up from 1 to 5, and you still warm up through 7 or 8, but you don't take the 7 or 8 to working, and then you start working at 10. You're missing part of this first. And I think getting heavier every set can gauge it. I don't use a logbook, so I know that felt pretty good. I know the next set will feel pretty heavy for 12, 10 to 12. I know the next set after that will feel very heavy for like an 8 to 10. I can gauge that already. I haven't been caught out straight away by going in there and just moving and being like, I've come off a set, and yes, my logbook says I did it. It felt okay, but I'm like, I just 2 warm sets and my chest feels full already. And I'm natural. Like full 90, minus a little bit of insulin. Yeah, that don't count though. It only counts if you're on at the time. This next set's for me at the minute reasonably heavy. I'm looking at maybe an 8 rep area. I don't tend to go under 10 reps unless it feels really good. I could get a really nice contraction there when I was in the short, and it worked transferring to my delt. I feel like today I could potentially do that with a little bit more load. So we'll give it a go.
You know, when you're getting towards the end of a set, do you think about pushing your back through the bench?
I do from the very beginning with chest. So one thing I do is I'll come off it, I'll pin myself back and I'll let the weight pin me. Then from that position, I'm not moving forward, I'm moving back to myself. If I think I'm pushing forward, in my mind, I'm pushing forward. I'm not pushing back. So my chest collapses. And even when I'm doing something like a dumbbell press, which is like a flat or slight incline, I'm still thinking about that. Because otherwise it's very easy to overreach and get this in here, which was a fundamental mistake I made for a lot of years. Through tendonitis and trying to protect it, and not really been vulnerable in that position, but it's obviously come around from somewhere. And the reason why my chest development is down, I thought it was a genetic thing or whatever. Turns out I was just training wrong. 17 years to realise. It took me to break from the mould. If I'd still been doing the same things I was doing, undoubtedly I'd have grown, but my chest would have still been the same, my arms would have still been down. My back would have been bigger, my legs would have been bigger. All the body parts that I grew well would have been even better. But the body parts that I didn't grow so well wouldn't have had the chance to be where they are now. So a balanced physique, get good at everything, then potentially transition back to that sort of style of training semi, where I can combine the two, but be good at training. I'll take that. I knew when I get to 4, it was going to be a bit sticky. But 8's good. Again, connection wise was good. Probably take a couple of biscuits off that. So it's maybe 10 pounds lighter. Maybe he just sent me that. Just a little bit better. Just one thing we need to remember is, and one thing I've been hearing a lot over social media recently, I think I'm maybe just being in tune to it more rather than ignoring it, is I'm going to go into the gym today and I'm wanting to hit this number. I want to hit this number, I want to hit this weight. I'll be happy when I get this load to this, or when this press is at this weight. Wrong thinking. Like, come in the gym and be like, I'm going into the gym today and I'm trying to break my muscle down to grow. We aren't weightlifters, I say it again and again and again. Like, you're constantly seeing some of the guys in here lifting way more, and every gym you go to, they're so fucking strong, but they've got no muscle. It doesn't matter, you know, change that mindset of going in and getting strong. Make sure that you're fucking honest with yourself and you're actually moving the weight in a manner where you know it's going to create a hypertrophy, not just stroke your ego or, you know, show your Instagram how strong you are, because it's great being strong if you're a strong man or a powerlifter or anything like that, but if you're a bodybuilder and your aim is to build muscle, you want to think a little bit differently. That's your way of thinking. Right, so exercise number 2. What we're going to do here, put it on setting number 3, so it's easier in the short position. The reason being, how I probably explained earlier on, if Joe keeps that bit in, is as we get into this position, especially with guys with long levers, that's where you're going to become weak. So, you know, we're losing that sort of rolling of the shoulder. As it's starting to get difficult, it's almost like someone's spotting you, so you can keep on that same plane, rather than trying to wiggle it or anything like that. I found that really a really big advantage with this machine, because with this machine, or with this exercise, my goal is to be here as high as possible. The loading on this isn't as much as what it is there, and likely high rep range throughout all sets. So I'll be looking at in and around 4 sets of 15 here, still trying to get progressively heavier, but maximum blood flow, maximum contraction with a high chest in that place here, where previously I haven't managed to get tension through. Now I can get tension through it. It doesn't matter if it's 10 kilos, 20 kilos, just tension is enough for it to be stimulated right now, for me. So machine set up right, give myself a minute or 2. Such an effective way of training for weaker body parts is this. It's not super high volume to the part where you trash your chest on one exercise and, for example, you go into a superset, that muscle doesn't have the ability or the endurance to keep performing. So it's all right doing a fly and then going into a press up or something like that. But if the muscle's gone, it's gone. Try and work quality sets, focusing just on that particular muscle group. For example, if you've got weak arms, just really concentrate on being able to contract it and lengthen it. That's it. Slowly over time, just slowly add weight. Minimal. That was the first set of 15, but 4 sets of that is gonna just fucking bring the sponge out, as we were just saying. But not to a point where I'm so fried I can't do anything else. One thing you'll probably notice if you've got a weaker body part is if you do one little bit of good work, it can't carry on, it fatigues really fast, or the endurance of it is really fast. If on the other hand you have a weak body part and the endurance of that muscle is very good, there's a really big indicator there that you're not rinsing it, that you're not actually using the muscle that you think, or how you think you are. So I've not increased the weight because that set was perfect, and I only just got 15. And also pay attention how I'm moving. I'm not just repping it because the weight's not heavy. I'm making it as heavy as possible by squeezing and stretching as hard as I can. You might notice that I've got the watch on. The watch is back on. I haven't tracked steps in years. I didn't track steps while I was with Milos. It wasn't something that, it's not something that many American coaches do, I don't think. Or maybe they're getting around to doing it now. But for me at the minute, 25 minutes cardio in the morning, which is a slow walk on a treadmill. Nothing. In fact, my actual walking outside steps is probably more difficult than the cardio. But it gets me up, gets me moving. And then 8,000 steps a day on top of that, which doesn't seem like a lot. But in off season, when I wake up, I'm sat at my desk. I drive to the gym, I walk around the gym, I go home, I sit at my desk, I go to sleep. I was hitting 3,000 steps a day max. So going from 3,000 to 8,000. It's nice, I like to go and get out on a night and have a walk and just add them steps up. But it also helps with digestion and things to a point. My food's lower, yes. My food at the minute is like 5,000 calories on a training day, which may seem a lot for most, or may seem a good amount for most, but I've still come down like 20 pounds from that nearly. From peak off season to this, 20 pounds. So it's doing a job. I'm under 260 this morning for the first time, 259.8. But it was a rest day yesterday. I was quite active yesterday, so I expected that this morning. Probably have a feed up in 2 days, which will just be a Nando's, so chicken and rice extra. And then that should get me back into the 260s. Then I've sort of held between 265 and 260 in this phase, which was really the goal. I don't want to do what I do in most years and go from 280 plus to 220. Like I may get in the 220s, to be honest with you, to get to the condition I want this year, but it'll be a better 220, not just a emaciated 220. So the goal this year is peeled, signature sort of condition. And then ideally, the muscle that I've had from last year and sort of matured this year, I don't think that's going to go anywhere, so we'll see. The changes to the physique are actually huge. I've only had 5 months really off season, they're not very big. And the beginning of that was obviously I was ill a lot. So it's good enough for me to go to this season and be like, no more diuretics fucking me up. Actually turning up on stage like I actually look. Like Joe, when you were first started filming me, you were into bodybuilding, but you weren't seeing the side of competitive bodybuilding, were you? And Joe couldn't understand why I'd look how I looked posing after the gym compared to how I look on stage and all the stuff that went in. He was like, well, you look so much worse than you do, so why do you make yourself look worse? And I want to present for me what I actually look like on a stage, which I haven't managed to do yet. So this year I think we're gonna nail it. I'm optimistic. And one of the big reasons why I do videos for Instagram rather than pictures is because you can actually see. Pictures can be misleading, a video leaves you exposed. So that's what I generally look like in a prep, but getting that on stage is just another matter at the minute. So using the Atlantis Smith rather than the Cybex. I do prefer the Cybex, but it's generally always been used. So because I'm coming down in body weight, I still do want to gauge how I'm feeling in a set. If I use this and then I use that, I'm not too sure. So I'll use this machine for now because I can gauge how I've been feeling in it. Like I said, on my other push session, I use this exercise first, so I'm a lot stronger at it. And I'm really quite happy about its progressing. Right now, it's a case of whatever's left in the tank, just having a little bit of a joke with Joe. Last time we were filming together is just Sam Sulek it, just move it. Get it on your chest in the stretch, feel where it is there, and just fucking move it. Obviously safely, but not overthinking shoulder positioning and all that sort of stuff. Now chest is full and I can feel it. I get good connection. It should land straight on the chest from the beginning, hopefully.
What time is love?
Oh, that's down. That's down today. It's down, but that's a good set. Hit 5 reps there, and I knew it weren't going to go my way. So instead of just moving 6, 7, 8, and then struggling with 9 and 10, just still chest. Chest will go as far as chest can go. A lot less than expected actually. But it's not the end of the world. Chest has been worked.
You know when you're on that prime, there were like 5 reps at the end where it looked like it were getting stuck and you just moved it.
Yeah.
When I'm doing that, there might be 1.
Yeah, that's...
And I noticed it on the Nautilus when we did it at Rotherham as well, which I use for the same purpose.
Yeah.
You were able to just like...
Just force it through, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't do it.
Yeah.
Like I'll get to a sticking point.
I used to be the same, like say with this, I look like I'm just going like this. Then I just go. And like, whoa, I'd be like, well, just watch me. Yeah, I'll say, I will just die out of nowhere. And I could never do it. I just think that's time. But it's time with being, once I'm in this position and out there, I know instantly that's an effective rep. I know that as soon as I'm dying and I'm here and I can finish that rep, it's the fucking worst thing in the world if somebody just goes, you've fucking cheated yourself out of all the work that you've just done in that set and probably previous sets. Keep it there and just grind it, done, nothing else, shoulders together and just chest. Even if you get it to here, it's better than getting it to here like that. Just tension on chest. I was going to justify why I've lowered the weight there to not a lot when I just remembered that you lot saw me press a plate aside for about 2 years. Come on. Oh, point proof there. It was easier just to fucking drag it out than it was to slow it out like that. So that's 3 chest movements now, 3 presses. I actually don't have a fly movement really. The first chest is like a fly press a little bit, but a scapular issue I've got. The guy I went to see was any fly movement is gonna significantly tire my scapula. And so that's been a bit of a revelation. Not wasting my time on something I don't really feel, and it's just all in the back of my shoulder. Do you have to fly to get a big chest? Probably. Is it? It's going to help you, but again, if it's not doing anything for me personally, it's adding nothing there. So I'll go into some assisted dips now. Chest focused, assisted dips. I could not do a bodyweight dip at this minute. I don't think I could do a press up. And what it allows me to do is get myself into the stretch very safely, but also as I'm coming down, it allows me to pin my shoulders back. So as I'm coming up, when my chest is tired, it's impossible for me to use anything else but chest. So it's almost forcing me to get them last little drops out of what's left. So squeezing the orange now, 3 sets of 15 to 20, just stretch, squeeze, stretch, squeeze until I can't do it myself. It's gonna work a little bit of tricep as well, which is good. But the main focus of this is me you'll see I'm leant over here with shoulder back, really trying to drive through lower and upper chest. This is a really effective exercise if you're gonna do it as a compound with some weight, like a body weighted dip, early on in a session. So maybe a bit heavy in terms of me support there. Full stretch, chest down, shoulders back. So rest times here, not very long, minute at most. Like I said before, you can't really cheat with this. You're either in it or you're not. So in this session, I actually prefer the cuffed to this, simply because I can move a little bit more load with the cuff with it being on the wrist rather than the grip. And because I've just got one chance, I like just to go in and lift 4 heavy sets really. Whereas this, it's not as heavy, or if it is, it's almost like can bring in a little bit of trap for me personally. So what I'm thinking about here, down, shoulders down, nothing's up, everything's down. Feet into the floor, shoulders down, traps down, hands down as far as I can, and out, so down and out. And just don't think about it, just lift. Finish the push session. Because I do a lot of volume in the arm day later on in the week, I typically do this first exercise a little bit heavier, just try and get a bit of load through the triceps, and then finish with a single arm. It's just a top up is this. Oh, yeah. That's it. I can't straight enough. That was a long session today. Usually about 25 minutes quicker than that, but taking the time with in between sets, chatting, it's actually not been bad. Sometimes the extra rest isn't a bad thing. I can quite get through these sessions quite fast sometimes, especially recently when I've had a little bit too much pre-workout. I do tend to not rush it, but sometimes I'm like, right, just fucking slow down, Jimmy. But that's the first session. Back from the YouTube, really. I'm gonna try and do a few more things than just training. So we've got, depending if Joe can get up or you might stay at man overnight, whatever. Do the morning routine, just doing a bit of a cardio set up in the garage there with some posing rooms, with like a posing space and stuff, which will be pretty cool. Showing my morning routine for that and just some other bits as well. Obviously going through prep. So prep does start the end of the second week in Feb. So it's 1st February today. So maybe 40, maybe 20 days, I think. However, in my mind, prep already started 4 weeks ago. As soon as I was in this pre-prep phase, it was like, right, okay, prep's on. Still have a meal off plan, but the meal off plan is the same. It's butterfly chicken from Nando's, chips and rice, which is about 400 calories more than my usual meal. However, weren't really cutting it, I was still dropping, so we did pizza the other night. When I say we as well, new coach, if you call it a new coach, somebody who I've not actually worked with before as a coach, but somebody who I've consulted with for a long time. And that person is, you'll have to fucking wait and see next YouTube video, cuz. But I'll go through all that, the setup, what we're doing, may even get him involved in a YouTube. I will travel over to see him, and that might be worth documenting actually. Then we can do some posing and stuff. So you get a good reaction to where I am at the beginning of prep. I don't like showing my physique in off season or at the beginning of off season, because to me I look fucking terrible. And I know it's important for people to see it, but I struggle to look at myself, especially in poses, because I don't have the small waist that I normally would, which gives me my physique. But again, it's good because you'll be able to see me from a larger gentleman to a more streamlined gentleman, let's call it. But gonna leave it there, guys. We're in people's way. Don't have a prep series yet, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. Generic fucking bodybuilder online coach shit. But thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.